Simmons going to start the party early.
See Brody McDonald sitting third wheel of A Volo. Again, Brody has had a good year as well. He was third to his teammate Gavin just yesterday in the road race. Gonna do some early work here.
Wasting no time.
I think Colby is thinking his best bet is also to be on the front, off the front, as far in front of Brandon McNulty and Project Echelon as he can be.
Yeah, it's a great point for the solo riders or riders that don't have a ton of teammates. You know what's going to happen if you sit back. Like, you know exactly what Project Echelon is going to try and do here. And so the only way to really counter that is to try to take it to them, right? Don't let them get as comfortable as they want to be. And look what Simmons is doing here. This field has to go single file just to keep up with his tempo. That makes it that much harder for the Project Echelon guys to find each other and come together.
And Colby also knows this course. He just raced yesterday as well with Gavin Lady, and Colby was actually second yesterday, so he knows this climb as well. Knows what he has to do to set himself up. Michael Garrison to the left of him. Had a great ride in the crit. Even crashed, unfortunately, but was able to get back into the race.
Garrison in that green jersey off to the left-hand side here. As Avolo going to take over on the front. Beautiful form here. I love watching great bike racers race their bikes.
Someone that looks good on their bike, it definitely makes for good watching.
Well, you know it's going to be a good race when they're already looking to see what kind of damage they've done 4 minutes into it.
Well, they want a break. I mean, it's not like they were just cruising up that climb. So you're kind of seeing if there is any damage done and what it is and who you're with and who's come across with you.
Remember in the women's race, we saw a lot of aggressive riding on the way down. The descents were also decisive. So we'll see if anyone wants to push it here, try to bring those guys back.
This looks like Brennan Wirtz coming to the front.
A couple riders sticking their head up to figure out who dares. And this will be the game all day today. Shuffle and reshuffle until you get the breakaway that you've been looking for.
Might be our first break of the day. Brennan Wirtz is quite an engine to let off the front. See who he is taking with him.
Wirtz, another great example of some multi-discipline power coming in. A modern bike racer, let's call him. A little bit of road, a little bit of gravel, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. That's what it takes to be a pro these days. Field's not going to give him much time. Project Echelon up to the front of that one.
You can almost guarantee if Project Echelon isn't in the break, it's probably not going to be a good break to send up the road and thinking that it's going to stay away for a while.
One going to try and go across. They'll make it 3 up the road.
Butcher Box coming across.
Huntsman would be my guess for the UTC Butcher Box Cycling presented by Look Team. They start Huntsman and Jeanette. It's going to be 3, then 4, then 5. This is turning into a rather large group.
Yeah.
And see, these guys are going to go right through them.
This looks like Robin Carpenter to the front. He's got Sam Boardman on his wheel.
Oh boy.
That's some horsepower.
Two of the best teammates in the sport right here now riding for themselves. I think both of these guys have really built a name for themselves as being some of the most selfless riders that you'll meet in the peloton. Talking about Sam Boardman, Robin Carpenter here, but every once in a while they get the chance to ride for themselves, and when they do, it is one of the most magical things in the world. So I'm not sure if this is a setup for the team. I'm sure they've got they're playing chess. We're thinking in checkers here. These guys are 7 moves ahead of us right now, but it is always nice to see the domestiques, or what are typically domestiques, get a chance to stretch their legs out here.
It was interesting talking to some of the racers from Friday night, and they said how upset Sam was. Even though he crashed and his teammates won, he was just super upset that he crashed. And you know, Sam is just another one of those athletes that wears his heart on the sleeve, good and bad, you know. So it's just, he's fun to watch race because of how excited he gets for himself and his teammates. I love the passion. That's half of the sport.
Carpenter, Boardman, and Wirtz getting away here.
Using all the road on this descent.
Huntsman still trying to chase on back at the front of the field. This guy's going to be breaking the 30-mile-an-hour speed limit on the way down here, that's for sure.
Look how low and arrow Sam Boardman is.
This descent looks so fun.
Yes, exactly.
I don't know about the ascent on the way up, but if you have the chance to ride this one with fully closed roads, this is about as good as a descent gets here. These guys, maybe it's just because they make it look easy, but man, if I could ride my bike like that.
I bet in your head you ride your bike just like that, Brad.
Well, they're going to go back over the bridge with a small gap back to the rest of the group. But this is how it starts. I think one going to go across. Maybe a Kelly Benefit Strategies jersey trying to get there.
And then just one long line.
Wow, not much of a peloton to speak of anymore, is there? Now that should settle in eventually, but we'll wait and see. I think this is Hilligoss in the white jersey back here.
So it looks like Michael Garrison is trying to come across right behind Hilligoss.
Huntsman in the red, Garrison in the green. And is he dragging a Project Echelon jersey up with him?
Looks like it.
There's a nice split.
Volo has missed it, and they are on the front of the peloton trying to chase this back down and get a reset, or at least send one of their guys across.
Boardman having a little chat, looking for his teammate as these guys get to work on the front. Work's cut out for him now. It's actually going to be Luke Ahrens, the Kelly Benefits rider, making his way up. Not a surprise. Scott McGill is the other Project Echelon guy in there. And that is Eddie Huntsman at the back here. Still trying to figure out the rhythm and the workload here. We just saw Scott McGill go from the back to the front. Wirtz went with him. Boardman is not going to work out of this group. So I think Boardman said, Scott, why don't you go ahead, see who goes with you.
Yeah, just go up the road with Brendan. It'll be fine. Yeah, that's just saying that's not the right mix. That's not the right mix for Project Echelon. That's not what they wanted.
Boardman just completely pulled the plug. And it was absolutely a plan because he chatted with Scott McGill as McGill came up. They exchanged words, and then whatever's happening right now happened. So it was exactly what Project Echelon wanted. Now McGill and Wirtz going to be left alone by themselves.
Evola's still trying to come across.
Great draft for Scott McGill here. If you can pick
not
one
so
guy
much for
to
Brendan.
sit behind, it'd be Brendan Wirtz. I feel a little bad for Wirtz as he's got to try and sit behind McGill here. There's at least 6 inches of difference between these two guys. Look at the group back behind them. Big effort from Simmons trying to come up the right side.
Oh, that is Simmons. Yeah, I thought it was Evola. Good call. See Nielsen coming up to the foray.
Simmons going to drag this group up single-handedly. What's the thought for these two? Are you okay with 2? Do you want more?
Who am I? Who's for the 2, for the peloton, from a sprinter, from Brandon McNulty? No. You know, I would think Brendan would love 1 or 2 more that's not Project Echelon.
Yeah.
This is not ideal for Brendan at all.
Yeah.
But you know what? You got to play the cards you got. So maybe what they're looking for is keep the break out here. See if 2, 3, 4 more guys can't draw out that Project Echelon will essentially let up the road and let a break happen. It looks like we have one trying to come across right now. I'm wondering if that's not Cole Kessler.
That would make sense. Looks like a Lytle Trek jersey to me. What Wirtz really needs here is like a 6'5" guy to come out of the field and join the breakaway. That's the only way he's going to get any draft today.
I don't think Reggie Miller's available today. Cole has one other with him.
Trying to figure out who that white jersey is.
Maybe a Kelly Benefits.
Makes sense. Either way, this is going to be 4 guys pretty soon up here. Luke Ahrens was the last Kelly Benefits guy that we saw up in that front group, so would not be unheard of to see him make this selection. And they made it just in time to start the climb.
Just now starting Wirtz Avenue. .3K long climb, 5.5% average. But this was exactly where Kristen Faulkner went for her winning move.
Remember, the other side just as important on the way down. One more coming up behind him. I just caught a glimpse of what I think was a solo rider. Going to try and make it 6 up here. About 20, maybe 30 seconds back. And these guys right back to work. This is Cole Kessler up on the front with the yellow sleeve. Riding for the Lytle Trek Future Racing team. Second place in Knoxville last year at the 2023 championship. So these guys away. The first breakaway of the day has started, and we're going to see how they do up and over the first climb of the day. We'll keep an eye on it for you as we thank some sponsors here on Flow Bikes.
It's something I look forward to every single day.
It's what I know. Like, it's who I am.
All I'm thinking about is the finish line.
I race for progression and I race for improvement.
Just to have fun and go really, really fast.
I race for team.
I race for women.
My favorite is definitely cyclocross.
Techie mountain bike riding.
It's like a balance between pushing yourself and then other people.
People are stoked to see you out there.
You may not win, but you learn.
Adrenaline.
Ready to discover your full potential? Push past your limits, reach new heights, and move like never before with HyperIce. Start your journey to better movement with our full suite of wellness technology. Loosen muscle knots with powerful percussion massage from the Hypervolt. Melt away stress and tension with the warmth of Venom heated massage. And increase circulation with Normatec dynamic air compression. It's not just for elite athletes, it's also for you. Move better with HyperIce.
What are Gooder sunglasses? Stylish no-slip sunnies for all cyclists. Functional shades for bikers that are actually fun. Affordable, high-performance cycling sunnies. Fun sport sunglasses that match every fit.
Business today is fast, unpredictable, always changing. Shifting trends and technologies are pushing aside old rules. The unexpected is the new normal. Segra is here to help you get what's next with our best-in-class connectivity, cybersecurity, cloud, and collaboration solutions. Whatever your business dreams, we have the network and services to get you there. Segra, proud sponsor and official technology provider of the USA Cycling Pro Road National Championship.
Everybody wants a secure financial future. You included, right? The problem is your investment advisor is over here, your tax specialist over there, and your insurance agent someplace else. And you're in the middle wondering, how do I make this work for me? It's confusing, frustrating, and ineffective. Worry no more. We are Vandalia Wealth, where all your financial professionals are brought to the same table so that you can become the focus. Start being the one everyone places in the center. Be the one, Vandalia One.
Welcome back. While we were in break, some riders going down on the way up to the climb. Just on the left-hand side of the group here, we saw a couple riders involved in a crash, including that Ribble Racing jersey, and one of the Project Echelon riders also caught up in this. It's tough to see early on here. That's Kate Bickmore from Project Echelon, the rider in blue, getting caught out, and then Ribble Racing also in trouble with Colt Davis.
You never like to see this.
And you can see right where it happened, this left-hand bend. I think these guys maybe just getting pinched into that inside line. And now they got to get those bikes back together and see if they can get into one of these groups. So Project Echelon going to be down one. Kate Bickmore.
If he can get back on, I still think it's early enough in the race to recover and make it back to the group.
Meanwhile, not much change with these guys up at the front. As we get live images from our leaders of the race, we saw Cole Kessler make his way up into this group with Lidl Trek jersey. And I think this is Hilligoss back in here. Yeah, confirming. These guys rocking side to side here. There's one chaser about 15 seconds back from these guys, and then another 15 back to the peloton. They did lose one out of this group. They're down to 5. So Wirtz, McGill, Kessler, and Hilligoss is going to be it. So I wonder if getting that chase rider over race radio, I wonder if that is a remnant of this front group or someone trying to come across. McGill looking over the shoulder. He can sense what's back there. the back of the main group. Well, they were single file up to the climb. We'll go back up to the front. See, Wirtz looking straight up. He doesn't seem to be real worried about being arrow. Hillegas is eating the stem behind him. You see Scott McGill on the hoods up front, but he does have the 90-degree elbows.
That's just the strength of Wirtz. He is another former rower, just like Kristen Faulkner was. So that there's something to the rowing family that makes them extremely strong and durable. Scott McGill looking back. I think just trying to see if anyone else is coming across. Get the numbers right for those guys.
Still trying to ID the rider in the gap. Oh, getting aggressive up here. Hillegas attacking? Or maybe just the descent? No, he's looking back. This is what you were talking about earlier. When you build that momentum, you just keep going.
Just roll through it, yeah.
Yeah, I see what's happening here.
And of course, Brennan should be rolling through to the front. The biggest guy in the group. He can bring the most speed to the four of these guys.
Absolute freight train on the front here.
Cole Kessler is coming back from mono. He's had a heck of a spring, unfortunately. So hopefully these are the weekends that he can turn the corner and make good again on his season.
See Hillegas getting on his radio back to team director and the rest of the teammates. Maybe giving them an update as to what's going on up the road in the breakaway.
Yeah, your director's going to want to know if everyone is working together or if someone's sitting on, and if that's the case, you know, the tactics can change up there, but seems all is right in this group. No one up for a feed quite yet. Imagine this place is going to be packed and busy come later today.
These guys haven't had any time to use any of their bottles or gels, so there's no time to eat or drink yet. 25 minutes in, and they've pretty much been going at it since that first climb.
Yeah, you have to push pretty hard to set the break, and by setting the break, meaning that you're going to have a minute and a half gap, get a time gap right there of only 35 seconds. So you still have to put forth a pretty strong effort to maintain the gap and deter anyone else from chasing this back down. You've been out here now for a half a lap for Brennan Wirtz, and you know you don't want to negate all that work by just a one-off rider in the peloton saying, you know what, I want that back.
Kessler going to take over on the front now. These guys got a nice flow worked out now.
Good grief, look how flat Scott is. Wow.
What would the report be if you were in this breakaway radioing back to your team director? What do you tell them?
Yeah, that we're all rolling this. Everyone's working well. How I'm feeling, and if this is according to plan. And again, you kind of want to roll it out enough that you can get your team car up to you, 1 for service and 2 for conversation. Even though, you know, a lot of times everyone has a radio and you may be talking in it, but a lot of times it's static and, you know, the joke is that you really can't hear anything. So, yeah, it's always nice just to have a face-to-face conversation if possible.
See a little split off the front of this group. They just went into the corner at the top right of the picture. Another maybe 5 or 6 guys.
It's also good to know if anyone is chasing, who is chasing and why. You may let someone up to the group. You can even convey your information to the others. If it is good for the group or good for you, for sure you're going to try and convey that message. So, you know, all kinds of information comes over the radio.
I'd say collegiate national champion Anthony Hilligoss in here. The biggest wild card. He's got the most to gain from being in this breakaway. He's found himself in really strong group of 4 guys here.
Pretty rough road there, seeing a couple bottles spit out of bikes. But yeah, Anthony definitely, like you said, has the most to gain being in this break, being represented for his Kelly Benefit Strategies team.
Front group getting their first preview of the run into the finish here. They'll make 3 more turns, a right and then 2 lefts to get them back on to the start-finish stretch along the Kanawha River. Trouble at the back. Above Beyond Cancer, Landis Trek. We'll get back in.
Just because it's flat doesn't mean it's easy.
Yeah. All right, so first time through the line here. These guys are going to do right around a 30-minute lap today. Those will get faster as the day goes on, but for now, we'll call it a 30-minute loop. What's the most important thing going through your mind 30 minutes into the race? What are you thinking about? Is it fueling? Is it tactics? Is it efficiency?
Tactics. I'd say tactics. At this point, it's early in the game. Your fueling is already tip-top from breakfast, lunchtime. So, yeah, just making sure that the race is going according to plan. You know, unfortunately, Project Echelon already had a crash with Cade Bickmore. Hopefully he's getting back on his bike. I would think that would be something they're going to really be keen in on. And also that Scott McGill's feeling good. So, yeah, definitely first couple of laps, tactics, but staying on top of nutrition is equally important. So a lot to be said in the peloton to your fellow teammates and from the director to you. You know, stay on top of the game plan.